welcome back to OSC e-learning platform. In this class, you are going to learn how to use your block to make a pegged skirt, which some people call pencil skirt. So a pegged skirt is a skirt that really shows the shape and outline of a lady. It could be long or knee length. It could actually even be a mini skirt. But in this class, it's going to be knee length, and I will be showing you step by step how to do a pegged skirt. Come along with me, let's go right into it. Remember, I kept mentioning in other classes that you never cut your block. So this is my block that I showed you how we have drafted it. You don't cut that. You get a clean piece of paper, and that is what you would place your pattern on and trace out. I had shown you that in previous classes. So I have done my own tracing like so. You can pause or stop the video for you to be able to quickly do your own, and then you continue watching. So I have traced mine, and this is my working pattern. My working pattern that is the one I can cut. Now, to show you how to convert a straight skirt, a straight pattern into a pegged skirt, you would need just a few calculations. The hip of this medium pattern, we are using a medium size pattern that had a waist of 30 and a hip of 40, with the length being 23. To peg it into a pencil skirt, I am going to deduct 4 inches from 40. So 40 minus 4. How did I get 4? It depends on how pegged you want your skirt to be. If you want the skirt to be not too tight around the knee, you could use 3. If it's for a very slim person who really wants it really pegged, you can do 4.5. But from experience, for over 20 years of making clothes for people, 4 inches from the hip measurement of that person or the hip measurement of your size chart is usually best to get a very nice looking pegged skirt. So here we have 40 minus 4, and that is equals to 36. And you divide that by 4, you get 9 inches. So you come to your hem and subtract, you're going to measure 9 inches from there. If you are used to using CM, that's fine. Now this is the back pattern. It's here that I want to peg in on the sides. This is the side seam. So side seam, you need to know the terminologies. This is the side seam, this is the zipper side. So you measure the 9, and that is where 9 is. Using your ruler, you connect from the hip back to that point. You are going to cut that off. Please do not do this on your block. This should be done on your working pattern. The working pattern is the one you cut, manipulate, convert to the desired style. I've done that. So an easy way, I'm always going to be showing you faster tips rather than measuring all over again. I'm just going to put the 2 backs together, and then I cut, securing that they are together. You don't want one side bigger than the other. You put your weights. Just find things around the house, things in your office, or you can actually buy and order weights, makeshift weights. You can get stones from outside and wrap them with clothes. Maybe one of our videos will show you how to do that, a makeshift weight. Then you cut. This way they will both be equal. So we've done that to the back, the front also. is the same thing. So rather than measuring the 9, because the patterns will still be worked in such a way that they must be the same. Now remember, the difference between the front and the back is the zipper. So put the front on top of the back. This way, you will be working fast, and then you mark and cut it off, or just come and mark the same thing from the front, measure out the 9, connect it to the hip, and you cut that off. Then you add your sewing allowance back, because you know we have cut off the sewing allowance. So now you're going to put fresh paper. So whenever you're making patterns, don't throw away your tiny little paper, because you will use them for adding your sewing allowance. So I'm going to add my sewing allowance back here. Using my paper glue, I'm going to add glue to that part that I cut off. These are fast ways. See that I'm not yet measuring anything. I'm just going to put paper on the part that I want to add sewing allowance to. Then you use your pattern master and place the line. If you can see the pattern master line, I need just 1 cm. Place that line exactly on the pattern under and trace out the sewing allowance that I need. So this is what I need here. You shape this back to connect to the original pattern. Come here, there shouldn't be any sharp edges on your pattern. Blend. And then I cut off this excess and I'm done. I see a lot of students trying to add allowance and they are measuring one by one. They are using the tape rule. It's important to know how to use your pattern master and what all those lines on them are for. It helps you to work fast. If you are in doubt, you can bring back your tape rule and measure. You will see that it is ½ an inch. Can you see? It's ½ an inch. That's how to use it. So you do the same thing for the other side. You do the same thing for the back. You must add back the sewing allowance on all your patterns. So I'll give you some few minutes to start working on your own as I continue to add my sewing allowance. So I have glued mine to the paper. I hope you have glued yours too. Don't cut it just yet. I want to show you how to ensure that the hem will fold in nicely when you cut, because if you cut it all off and you fold here, it will be short. So we've added the paper and here is the seam allowance. You come here on the hem and fold the paper like so before you cut. And that is what you cut. I'm going to show you the difference when you don't do this. So when you cut along the side, the line that you have put there for your allowance, when you open it, here tapers out just a bit. It allows the hem to fold in nicely. Don't cut here off. Always fold this way. So I'm going to just show you one in that let me show you one that if you don't do that, what would happen? So if this hem is not here and you just fold to cut. I hope you can see that it is short. It's shorter. Can you see? It's shorter. It's way shorter. So you don't do it that way. Make sure that your paper is still on the pattern. So I'll glue this back. Another thing, if you don't want to fold, is just to come here and measure 1 cm out. You can do that if you are very mathematical and you want a reason for everything. So the reason is that comes out on this side. Just measure about 1 or 2 cm out. But the easiest way is to fold, and then you connect this back. Connect here back, but it will be too much, so that when you fold, for folding just helps it. And your straight line. So I'm showing you several methods. I added 2, which is too much, but I think you should add 1. But let me just show you. And you cut out. I see people being afraid to cut paper. Just cut it. It is paper. That's what I tell the students. So cut any excess off. Now here, fold your hem nicely. So you see, the extra is just about 1 cm. So that will also work. Or you fold and cut, whichever one is easier for you. So I've done that for the back. Do the same for the front. Fold it, let your glue dry, and if you are using paper tape, just make sure that the line is not covered. So fold, and then you cut on that line. So there you have your pegs for that side. Same thing you do here. Fold and cut away the excess paper. Fold. And then you cut. So just make sure that you're as careful as you can. You should be able to use both your left and right hands if you're going to be a very good pattern maker. So here, we're done. So here is the front of a pegged skirt, and here is the back. Now there's something you must do to show that you are a very that you have attention to details. You're going to work your pattern. I also say place it as it will be sewn. So they're going to sew the front and the back together on this side. So you will put it together like so. As I'm going to sew it, you know, those days when you go to the apprentice shop, they actually make you sew cement skirts together. So you see, it's tallies. If there's any excess, you cut it off. If one is shorter than the other, you make sure that they align. So you see, I'm working my pattern, because you don't want where you have cut the dress and there's an issue. So now that there's just a little excess here, I check again to make sure that it's not that it moved. Another way to do is, because I still have my lines, my balance marks there, you can make sure that the hip line of the two skirts are together. Remember that the front dips and the back doesn't. So you can't start using here and place them alike. No, it's from here. It means this side is just this tip that are the same, hip line on the same line, and then you walk. That's why having all these lines and instructions, everything on your pattern is extremely important. So There's a little extra here, see? Then you cut it off so that the skirt will balance. You won't cut all the way because remember the front dips from the back. That's why the back is higher. Do the same thing for the other side. This is how it will actually be sewn. Zip side together and side seam to side seam. You work your pattern also. This side seems okay. So this brings us to the end of the pattern making side, and then you make sure that you notch them. The notch marks must also always be on all your patterns because this is what will give the cutter what to do. So here, 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 this is for just for balance marks to make sure that that aligns. Then on the darts also, it helps the tailor or SMO to sew quickly and sew fast. So when here is notched on the fabric, the SMO just puts it together. SMO means sewing machine operator. The tailor or you, whoever is stitching, finds it easy to just put the fabrics together and start stitching. This is how you will stitch in a very, very short time. So always important to have your notches, and I will show you how to notch on fabric when we get to that point where we are doing cutting. So thank you very much. I look forward to receiving your patterns. So I'm going to give you your assignment now. As you have completed making a peg skirt, you are going to do a peg skirt for a small and a large. We have done peg skirts using our medium patterns. So because you did our first course of straight block, skirt block, use it to create your own pegged skirt in a small and a large as well as extra large. So you are submitting 3 pegged skirts in different sizes. You can mail it to us, upload it or email it to us at info@oscfashion.com, or you post it to the address that is showing on your screen. Just follow the instructions on your screen on how to submit it. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.